Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Thought for the Week, the 28th of July, 2025. We're talking about understanding, and we're saying that it's like building a puzzle. Have you ever tried to build a jigsaw puzzle without the picture on the box? You open the packet, you pour out hundreds of tiny pieces, and you're immediately faced with chaos. The colors and the shapes seem to have no meaning. It's not that you're unintelligent, it's that you can't see how the parts fit together. You lack the overview. But once you've glimpsed the picture on the box, everything changes. Now you can sort out the edge pieces, gather colors that belong together, and start clustering patterns. The puzzle is still challenging, but it's no longer overwhelming. You're not just looking at individual pieces, you're starting to understand the whole. Reading an academic text works exactly in the same way. When we open a textbook, an article, or a research report, we are often tempted to begin at the first word and move sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, hoping that understanding will somehow appear along the way. Sometimes it does, but more often we end up confused, frustrated, or even worse, bored. Why? Because we haven't seen the picture on the box. We don't yet know how the author has structured the text, what the main ideas are, how they've been grouped, how the argument unfolds. We're trying to build a puzzle with no guide. And without that structure in mind, it's hard to remember what we've read, and even harder to explain it to someone else. That's why developing the skill to divide a text into headings, subheadings, and sub-subheadings is so powerful. It turns passive reading into active understanding. Think of headings as the puzzle's borders. They give shape and scope to the topic. Subheadings are the clusters of color or texture within the frame. They help you see where one part of the argument ends and another begins. Sub-subheadings, if they're present or if you add them yourself, are like the fine details, smaller sections that make the larger picture more manageable. Let's say you're reading a chapter on climate change. Without structure, it's just 15 pages of dense text. But with headings in place, you can start to make sense of the flow. Number 1, introduction. What is climate change and why does it matter? Number 2, causes, human and natural factors. Number 3, effects. Rising temperatures, extreme weather, biodiversity loss. Number 4, solutions, policy, technology, behavior change. And number 5, conclusion, a summary and future directions. Each heading divides the text into a meaningful chunk. Within those, subheadings might explore further details. For example, under effects, you might have sections on heat waves, droughts, sea level rise, and ecosystem collapse. With this structure in place, your mind can begin to see how the pieces fit together. Now you're not just reading, you're understanding. And more than that, you are preparing yourself to remember and communicate what you've read. So how do you apply this? Before you read, skim the text to find existing headings and subheadings. If they aren't obvious, create your own. Use highlighters, sticky notes, or digital comments to mark transitions in the argument. Ask yourself, what is the author's main point? How is the text divided? What question is each section answering? And how do the examples support the main ideas? So that's before you really start to read it. Then, while reading, pause after each section to summarize the heading in your own words. You might even sketch a diagram or an outline. These are your puzzle clusters, and the more clearly you see them, the easier it is to put everything in place. And then after reading, test yourself. Could you explain the structure to a friend or write a summary using your own headings? The goal is not just to collect information, it's to organize it, to fit the pieces into a bigger picture. That is what real understanding looks like. So this week, as you tackle academic texts, remember, don't get lost in the pieces. Look for the picture on the box. Understanding is not just about knowing facts. It's about seeing how they fit and knowing where each one belongs. Happy studying from the grad team. And remember, if you like our content, please forward and share.